Good morning, everyone. It's another beautiful Saturday morning in southern New Mexico. We're about to open up our hive and see how the ladies are doing. If you'll remember, last week we had opened up our new honey super and were somewhat disappointed with the lack of progress that the bees were making. We decided to leave it on and feed them extensively, so that's what we've been doing for the past week. We'll open it up again and see how they're doing. Our hope is that the honey super has been drawn out considerably, or at least a little bit, and that everything else is looking nice and healthy. I think today we're also going to check for mites. Varroa destructor is the full name of the mite species that has been infesting European honeybees since the 1960s. They first reached the United States in 1987 and have impacted the honeybee industry tremendously. Varroa mites are flat and shaped like a button. They're only about 1 to 2 millimeters wide, and as they are members of the Arachnida class, they have 8 legs. Females are reddish brown while the male is white. Once a bee colony is infested with the mites, it is almost impossible to eliminate them. They breed on a 10-day cycle in which a female mite enters a brood cell before it is capped. The female mite lays her eggs on the bee larva, which the newborn mites will feed upon after hatching. Once the bee emerges from its cell, so do the varroa, which allows them to spread around the hive and infect other larvae. Varroa mites may also remain attached to adult bees, which can lead to further spread of the mites around a bee yard if the worker returns to the wrong hive. Mites are a known vector for several bee viruses and are considered one of the main stress factors leading to colony collapse disorder around the world. First time we've done that, we're going to use the sugar wash method. See how healthy the colony is. Lots of ants. Liquid's all gone. Well, nothing up here. That one's a little bit drawn out.
Oh yeah, that one's starting to be.
I don't know. I say we test for mites quickly. I say we put a pollen patty in there, and just keep feeding them sugar. They're looking pretty good here at least. So for the mite test, we're looking for a frame with brood and a bunch of workers, hopefully nurse bees, but not the queen. We don't want to shake her up. So there's our outermost frame, some capped honey, a bunch of nectar. One of those teacup cells.
Yep.
And there's brood, there's pollen, a bunch of honey on this one. This could be a good one to shake. Just want to make sure there's no queen, which as we've shown in the past, we're pretty good at missing her. So
About 50-50.
Let's look pretty close. Yeah, 50-50. You see her, Des?
I see a bunch of bees.
Lots of brood on this side. Pollen and lots of honey. Alright, should we shake them?
Yes.
Ready? Need like 3 more hands. So we're trying to get a half cup of bees, which should approximate about 300 of them, just about like that. A couple more.
A bunch of those landed on my legs. Yep.
Yeah, it probably pissed them off a little bit. So what we have in here is powdered sugar. The idea is that we'll coat the bees with it. I want to roll it around and coat them evenly without killing them necessarily. The mites will get coated in it if there are any, and they will fall off the bees for some reason. I don't know why. Alright, we'll set that aside. We want to give it a minute or two for the mites to fall off. Let's get the bees out of this thing. This particular device is meant for alcohol. That'll kill the bees. We wanted to do it with sugar. I think the holes are frankly a little bit too small for the sugar that we're using. It shifts out very slowly. These bees are probably very angry. Alright, let's take the bees out. Gotten all the excess sugar. Yeah, it's probably good. So now the idea is that the any mites that are in there have been shaken to the bottom and are part of this. So let's spread this out on a white surface so we can see a little better, hopefully. There we go. No? I don't see any. Do you see any?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I guess that's a good sign. I think we're good as far as Varroa mite go, which is great. My plan now is to put a pollen patty on here, fill up the feeder again, and close the hive up. Guess we can check for eggs, at least signs of the queen. There's brood and nectar. Lots of bees.
Actually, just in case you might have missed some, then maybe I'm just gonna.
There's larvae in this one. Honey Fran. Honey Fran. Even like this isn't completely drawn out, even though they've had plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've given up making wax, which is weird to me. Yeah, there's lots of larvae, so. There's eggs on this one. There's the queen.
Yep.
Still have a queen.
That's good. We didn't shake her.
Alright, I'm happy. I'm going to start closing it up, grab a pollen patty. I think we'll put it on top of this box. Let that queen go. There she is.
So they are just starting to draw out this super. A few of the frames in the super. The last 3 weeks they hadn't done anything to it, so hopefully that's a good sign. It looks like they have 2 frames that are getting a little bit of wax.